Hi, I'm Marc Loftus, and in this post-TV podcast, I had a chance to speak with Jennifer Kaytin Robinson, who served as director, co-screenwriter, and executive producer of the new Sony Pictures film, I Know What You Did Last Summer. The horror film was inspired by the 1997 hit of the same name and uses a clever story arc to tie the features together. Here, Jennifer shares insight into the film's production and post-production. Jennifer,
Awesome.
Thanks for your time.
Of course.
So our magazine deals with the production and post-production side of things. And I was hoping maybe to find out just a little bit of insight from the filmmaking aspect, if you don't mind.
Yes, what do you want to know?
Excellent. Okay, so I went through the notes and everything, and let's start off with just your director of photography, Alicia Christian? Elijah, okay. How do you rely on them as far as decision-making for cameras, lenses? Do you have a vision yourself of the gear? Okay, and what do they bring to it? What's the collaboration?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a collaboration. It's me coming to them and saying, this is what I want the movie to feel like, this is what I want the movie to look like, and then us kind of talking about what that means. You know, I came to Elijah and talked about, movies that I really loved, and I had looked up what camera all of those movies had used, which was the Alexa 35. So that was something that we had a discussion about, like, if we can't shoot film, which we weren't able to, like, how can we get that filmic quality? And the Alexa 35 was a camera that we were both like really, really, really excited about. And then Elijah, we had talked about Jaws as a reference point visually for the film. And so Elijah went to Panavision, and we shot with lenses that were, if not the exact lenses that he used in Jaws, very, very similar. It was, stuff like that.
Okay. On the editing side of things, I know you were shooting in Australia. Your editor, is it Sarah Hayter?
Sarah, yes.
Sarah, is based in LA. What was the workflow for the editorial? Are they working close to day-to-day footage, your dailies, or do you even have time to collaborate with the editor while the shoot's going on? Do you wait till the shoot is wrapped?
You collaborate with the editor in that, like, I would talk to her and say, like, is there anything we're missing, especially when you're shooting in a location for multiple days? She assembles and puts the footage together and then says, you know what, if you can go back and get this pickup or this little thing or that little thing, that would be great. So we talk in that regard of, like, is there anything you're missing? How's the footage cutting together? Do you want this or that, or, kind of in a macro sense, but you're not really collaborating on the edit until you're done shooting.
How long was the shoot? How many days?
Oh God, we were in Sydney. We shot in Sydney for 38 days. And then we shot in Los Angeles for another 2 weeks in the new year.
Okay. And obviously the film is supposed to be taking place in North Carolina.
Yes.
Does that affect your visual effects needs beyond the storytelling aspect of it? What were the visual effects needs for it? And I know Dan Oliver was your visual effects supervisor.
Yeah. Dan Oliver was actually our visual effect, our physical effects, like not visual, not like VFX.
Okay.
Special effects, like the car rig and blood rigs and that kind of stuff. Like that's all Dan. That's what Dan does. We had a different. You're talking about like visual effects, like CG.
I was talking about post-production digital effects.
Yeah, no, that's not Dan. That wasn't Dan. But we not a lot because of the North Carolina of it all. I mean, you can't use weapons in Sydney. I mean, you can't use weapons anywhere, but like they're very, very strict about what you can do. So a lot of the knives were like kind of like cut down. So we would have to like add the knife back in visual effects. There's a sequence at the end of the movie on a boat where we were shooting that against a blue screen. So we had to add the water and the world and everything around them. But for the most part, there was not a ton of visual effects in the film.
Okay. Looking at the script, and I know you're involved from the get-go, from a writing standpoint, beyond just directing, was there anything in the script or from your own vision where you said, this is going to be a challenge to pull off, or did you kind of know that you would be able to do it?
I mean, I would say the biggest thing was knowing that we weren't going to be able to go to the original road from the first film and needing to recreate that environment exactly. We ended up building it basically in Australia outside. So we weren't on a soundstage. We kind of built it into this like, I mean, for lack of a better way to say this, dirt pit.
Yeah,
We built
yeah.
Reaper's Curve. But that to me was always going to be the most challenging thing, is where is this road where the original sin occurs?
Okay, so that's something you had to really keep in mind. Like, this is something that we can't use the original location, but we're going to have to create something that is so
Yes,
similar to the audience.
yeah, it had to match exactly.
Hmm. What was the music or sound effects process on it? A lot of sound effects, a lot of sound design. Are you working with a studio on that specifically?
Yeah, we had an amazing sound designer named Ando who was really, really awesome and, saw kind of an early cut of the movie and came in with a lot of amazing ideas. And then our sound mixer, Jeremy Davis, and Jessica Arkoff were both like absolute wizards. And yeah, like the sound in this movie is very, very, very important. Sound in all horror is very important. But for me, I really wanted to create an immersive experience. So it was very cool to collaborate and create that.
And just back to the editing side, I know you said you don't really have time during the shoot to collaborate on the editing. Once the shoot has wrapped and you're back to, you can dedicate some time to post-production. What is that editing collaboration? Are they putting cuts together based on the script, showing it to you? You're doing reviews. Are you sitting there as it's being assembled? How close are you working with the editor, and where is the editor working?
We were in Toluca Lake was where our edit was. I mean, all of the above. There were days where Syra would take a day and spend time with the footage. Yes, you're always working with the script, and then you kind of like watch the whole movie and decide, okay, what story are we telling? What's working in this film? What's not? And then you craft the story from there. But most days, yeah, it's Syra and I in a room together, just figuring out what the movie wanted to be.
Is that like a space for rent editorial setup there?
Yeah,
Or is
yeah,
it your
yeah.
own? It is. Okay. And in hindsight, looking back at the completed film now and knowing that you had your finger in like all aspects of it, did it turn out the way you had envisioned it? Or did you learn anything from this that you take forward to your next project where you say, I'm going to do things a little differently, knowing about the obstacles or challenges?
I mean, yes, I would say yes to both questions. Yes, I do think that this is the movie that I wanted to make. And then yes, with every single thing I've ever made, you learn something new and something comes up and there's different challenges. And the other thing I can say is like the thing that I've learned now in making, I made a television show and 3 films, is that you can never anticipate what the thing will be for the movie. There's always going to be a thing. It's always going to be challenging. You cannot anticipate what that thing is going to be. So just, get on the ride and have a good time and make the best movie you can make.
Be prepared going
Yes,
into it as
yes.
best you
Be
can,
prepared,
knowing
but
that.
yeah, don't catastrophize. Don't try and anticipate a problem, because you'll just never be able to figure out what it's going to be until it's there.
Understood. Obviously, you're promoting this piece. Do you have stuff lined up for the year ahead, beyond the year or next year, as far as streaming or feature films? What are you looking at? Anything?
Yeah, I have. I've written my next film that I'm putting together right now and casting right now, and so hopefully that comes together and I can shoot that either later this year or early next year, and then writing a bunch.
Do you always feel that you want to direct the pieces that you're writing?
Not always. Sometimes there's something that speaks to me as a writer and I'm like, oh my God, I would love to write that. It's not something I want to direct. And, but for the most part, yeah, I think the things that I write, I like to direct.
Cool. No, that's a great overview. I don't want to hold you up. Thank you for the insight. Hopefully we can talk down the road on your next project.
Of course.
Excellent.
Thank you
Jennifer,
so much.
thanks for your time. Great
Thanks,
speaking
bye.
with you. I appreciate it. Bye-bye, guys.